Have you ever felt like you missed out on something everyone else seems to remember fondly? That thing is called childhood. And I want to tell you something that most people never ever admit out loud. Some children never really got the chance to be children. They weren't out scraping their knees, building forts, and believing in fairy tales. Instead, they were learning a different set of lessons that were far too advanced for their years. They learned to become invisible, to stay quiet when others argued. They learned that the best way to navigate a storm was to be the calm within it, even when they were shaking inside. They learned how to take care of people older than them, becoming little parents, little therapists, little rocks for people who were supposed to be theirs. They became experts at reading the room, at sensing the mood shifts before anyone else, and adjusting their own behavior to keep the peace. They learned that crying didn't fix things. It didn't solve the problems, pay the bills, or mend a broken heart. In their world, tears were a luxury they couldn't afford. Crying only made them seem weaker in a world that demanded strength long before they were ready to understand what that word even meant. Strength wasn't about lifting heavy things, it was about carrying heavy burdens, silently. If this sounds familiar, if you've ever felt like you were forced to grow up too fast, then you know this story already. You don't just know it, you live it. It's written into the very fabric of who you are. It's in the way you apologize too much, saying sorry for taking up space, for having needs, for simply existing. It's the voice in your head that whispers, "Don't be a bother." It's in the way you overthink every single word before you speak. You run through a dozen scenarios in your mind, trying to predict how each person will react, choosing the words that will cause the least friction, the least trouble. You've become a master strategist in conversations, all because you learned early on that the wrong word at the wrong time could ignite a fire. It's in the way you find yourself caring more about others' comfort than your own peace. You're the one who always asks, "Are you okay?" but rarely waits for someone to ask you back. You're the one who makes sure everyone else has what they need, often forgetting to check in with yourself. Your own peace of mind feels like a secondary priority, a nice to have rather than a necessity. You might not remember the exact moment it all changed. There's no single dramatic event you can pinpoint. It was more like a slow fade. You only know that one day you were laughing without a care in the world, and the next you were carrying a weight that no one else could see. A weight made of unspoken words, adult responsibilities, and the heavy, heavy feeling of being old before your time. This isn't a story of weakness, though. It's a story of incredible, almost unbelievable resilience. As a child, you became what you needed to be to survive. You developed a kind of emotional armor. You became self-reliant because you had to. You became a problem solver because problems were all around you. You became empathetic because you were constantly tuning into the emotions of others. These are incredible strengths. You're likely the friend everyone turns to for advice, the reliable one, the person who holds it all together. But here's the part that gets tricky. That armor, the one that protected you as a child, can start to feel really heavy as an adult. The hyper-independence that helped you survive can now make it difficult to ask for help. The constant need to be strong can make it feel impossible to be vulnerable. The old soul compliment might sound nice, but it often hides a deep-seated exhaustion. Because being an old soul means you've been carrying the weight of the world for a very, very long time. It means you understand pain and worry in ways you wish you didn't. You might find yourself relating more to people decades older than you, while feeling a strange disconnect from your own peers who seem so carefree. You might also be a chronic people pleaser. This isn't because you're weak or lack a backbone. It's a learned survival mechanism. As a child, keeping others happy often meant keeping yourself safe. It was a strategy. But now, as an adult, that strategy can lead you to abandon your own needs, your own dreams, your own identity, just to maintain harmony. You might say yes when you desperately want to say no, all to avoid potential conflict or disappointment. And let's talk about control. When your childhood was chaotic and unpredictable, you learned to control the one thing you could: yourself. Your emotions, your reactions, your environment. As an adult, this can manifest as a need for perfectionism, for meticulously planning everything, for feeling intense anxiety when things don't go according to plan. It's your inner child trying to create the safety and predictability it never had. But here's the most important part of this entire story. It's not over. Your past doesn't have to be your future. That child who grew up too fast is still inside you, and they deserve a chance to heal. They deserve a chance to finally play, to be messy, to make mistakes, and to be taken care of. Healing isn't about erasing your past. It's about integrating it. It's about understanding that the survival skills that got you here are amazing, but you don't need all of them anymore. It's about learning that it's safe to let your guard down. It's safe to cry. It's safe to ask for help. It's safe to put your own needs first. It starts with small acts of self-compassion. It's allowing yourself to rest without guilt. It's buying yourself that silly thing you wanted as a kid, but never got. It's learning to say no and realizing the world doesn't fall apart. It's finding people you can trust. People who allow you to be your whole, messy, imperfect self without judgment. If you see yourself in this story, please know you are not alone. There are so many of us who learned the language of responsibility before we mastered the alphabet. But we are also a community of incredibly strong, empathetic, and resilient people. And we deserve to give ourselves the peace we so freely give to others. We deserve to experience the lightness of being that we missed out on. Your story is valid. Your feelings are real. And your healing is possible. That little kid inside you is waiting. It's time to go back and tell them, you can rest now. I've got this. Thank you so much for listening. If this resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content like this. It helps more than you know, and I'd love to have you as part of our community. See you in the next one.